13 interesting facts about blue whales. The blue whale also has a yellow color. The blue whale can be seen beneath water. Blue in appearance, but not in actuality. Blue whales on land are merely a model. When they're beneath, they're a blue-gray color. Yellow bellies are a result of these colorings. A little more difficult than it appears, so that the blue and gray patterns are entirely different on each whale, like the distinctive identifier that fingerprints provide, even though blue is the hue that most people use to describe blue. Hello and welcome to KYC News. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Whales can also appear silvery gray, depending on the light, and may even be tan. Not being yellow in the middle is not a quality. Rather than being the product of the many millions of microorganisms inhabit the lighter underbelly due to whale, they have dark skin that appears yellow. The blue whale is the enormous blue whale, largest animal to ever occupy the earth. From the time of the dinosaurs to Megalodon 10L grow to the length of they can fly the Boeing 737 up to 150 miles. Ladies are larger and weigh loads more. Luckily, they dwell in water, unlike males. Else they wouldn't be able to provide for them. Their own enormous physical weight in opposition to the gravitational pull and would give apart beneath their enormous weight other mammals who adapted to life on land had to live. One must go smaller. But the whale stayed in the water, and so they could maintain their enormous size. Whale physiology if you want. Let's enter the whale's mouth. You were supposed to host a meeting in a whale's mouth. You could fit 100 people. It can enlarge and reduce the population, creating more room by extending the 80 to 100 long ridges extending the entire length of as it swallows its chest and throat. Water's mouth is a massive cavity that is used to swig copious amounts of water rich in krill. The whale's main food source filters the beneficial bacteria through the roof's stiff bristles, which are an adaptation of its mouth known as baleen. These capture the krill and you can't because they eject the water. Suppose the biggest animal in the ocean's sole diet, one of the tiniest components, people who live near the ocean. Yet during the summer season, blue whales were able to consume up to 600 kilos of krill per day. On hearing, the blue whale has no external ears for hearing in the sense of the past. Yet it does possess good hearing and utilize air bones and sinuses to use for sound detection. Besides understanding sound waves, they generate a variety of sounds to communicate hundreds of miles away. Whales, but more on that in a moment. The priciest waste that a whale can consume a day, up to 40 million krill, and these indigestion may result from delectable but small shrimp. And occasionally it leads to whales. Large vomit is known as excrement, ambergris, and it begins softly before, of course, like any seafood, it was omitted. It floats around the water as it degrades, being outside in the elements until it turns hard and waxy, salty. It appears that after some time it begins to odor wonderful. In fact, it is used as a foundation for making pricey fragrances are really uncommon, therefore only most effective scents. And if you're possibly not utterly repulsed, you will begin keeping an eye out for it, because an ambergris block weighing 7 pounds can sell whalesong whales for $50,000. Not only quietly moving through the ocean while taking a small breather sometimes through their blowholes, they are a rather loud species at times. Low-frequency whistles are sent, and 188 decibel rumbles are possible. Which of these is louder than an airplane? Noises can be heard up to 1,600 kilometers away. Responding the other whale pods, they make such quiet noises. They occur less frequently than humans do inside their audible range. They communicate in whines, pulses, and groans that can be considered a communicable disease. Language also makes use of sounds to aid them in navigating. They will use sonar amid the darkest, deepest depths. Mothers of large blue whale calves receive some congrats on giving birth to calves swing 7,000 pounds at a height of 23 feet. This is among the longest mature trees. These babies don't have animals at birth. Every day they gain 200, they stop there. Pounds, consuming an astounding 500 liters of milk a day. Additionally, they take the title of the quickest pace of animal maturity for a year. the woman is pregnant and gives birth every 2 to 3 years. Envision having a joyful, healthy baby. Sure, it's all in a bundle the size of a car. Relative, but let's give credit anyhow. Attribution is appropriate. When blue whales are ready to reproduce, they go to a warmer area. Places near the equator, which a nicer climate is better for calves than the icy the Antarctic waters. Shock that would be an absolute shock following a year in its mother's belly is pleasant and warm. Blue whales are dazzling placental mammals, remarkably comparable to in fetal development. When a human is being born, the uterus grows. The mother must immediately transport it to the surface for air, after which it starts. Blue whales are seasonal suckers and omnivores. The best example of earn money while you can when it comes to their eating. Shining trends in the Arctic and cold, the krill-rich waters are devoured by them and reduce their speed to 5 mph to save energy and eat more frequently. As an illustration, consider blue whales often travel at 12 to 20 miles per hour. Miles per hour, although they can go faster. 31 miles per hour when conversing with whales. When feeding occurs at these sedentary rates, they are capable of energy conservation and accumulate fat reserves for the leaner when they depart the Antarctic for months. Oceans that are warmer during the breeding season, and if the krill catch declines, they can go without food for up to 6 months. Basically, I survive on love and whales. Alone individuals, blue whales blubber, are naturally shy and avoid traveling in pods like to other sea animals. Most mammals prefer to travel alone. Largest group of life, and they for possibly a couple of 2 adults or a trio. Even in these sets, a mother and child, they probably traveled a long distance. Only when krill are eating will you be apart. Encounter numerous pods of blue whales. We have been apart for 35 million years. A time, an animal by the name of anther existed. Causeur that scientists believe that the common that connects whales and hippopotamuses like the finest CSI resolve the mystery. Comparing detectives' teeth, say all dental records have been verified by scientists. They were both related to this family. It appears that these ancestors were trees. A 35-year-old immigrated from Asia to Africa a million years ago. Africa was a continent. Hence it's likely that they swim there on an island. The Anthropocene only occurred in Africa. Develop into the African hippo, and because of this, the hippo is entirely native to the continent of Africa. One Morcathera that was still in the ocean branch developed that eventually turned into the whale that we know today. On the verge of tragedy. Whale oil, a 1900s commodity that was last used in 360,000 of blue whales are being killed, but blue whales were extinct in barely 60 years. It is quite challenging to hunt. A significant shift in blue whale population was a creation made by a Norwegian man named Stephen Good. Prior until now, blue whales were caught given their magnitude and complexity, speedy but expertly crafted explosive harpoons. And that development led to the hunting ground for all kinds of game. Thankfully, in these gentle giants, International Whaling Commission in 1966 was created to aid in protecting the whales, but regrettably, the recovery has not been significant recently. There are 0.15% of the original blue is present, previously inhabited by whales. This is equivalent to the Antarctica alive. There are approximately 360 blue whales. Although it has few predators, prone to being hit by large ships, they are also harmed by sharks. Killer whales attack, but are hunted by humans remains their greatest danger. The whales cannot rest. Blue whales' air pores in their backs allow them to breathe, and they raise their heads to breathe. What this means on occasion for an exhausted, the fact that they can never fully understand turn off, turn over, and go to sleep. However, they have a tendency to nod off. They have developed an uncontrollable respiratory system that only operates partially. Their other half of the brain to sleep keeps moving sufficiently to guarantee the breath is controlled and the blowhole started. How long will they live? Blue whales have an incredibly lengthy, has an average lifespan of 80 to 90 years. Among the mammals with the longest lifespans, the longest blue whale ever recorded lived for how scientists determine their findings after 110 aging resembles the aging process of trees. You do sort of understand how trees grow, right? are measured by the number of rings in the tree's well. Whales' ages are determined by the wax layers in their ears to provide. Is there a rough estimate of their age? Thing that you can inform us of that we omitted, tell me in the comments section below. 1 peak, which is why we informed you. What is known about these magnificent? Now it's time to go whale watching now. Observing the ideal location to spot a blue whale. Here are some ideas. The street is an excellent place for you to start. Lawrence River in Quebec, Canada. The optimum period is between early October and August. Iceland is Port Elizabeth is another location. Sri Lanka, the Western Cape, and Lanka in New Zealand. South Island experts do concur that their statistics are gradually growing, but identifying them is still stunning to see, and one that is not quickly forgotten. Therefore, whales are glad watching.
Yeah, yeah.